This happened when I was 17, during my junior year of high school. At the time, I was living with my uncle in a small Ohio town. My parents had gone through a brutal divorce. My dad was violent, controlling, the kind of man who made rooms feel smaller when he walked into them. My mom finally escaped, but she couldn't keep me. My uncle, who worked as an auto mechanic and lived alone in a weathered two-story house near the train tracks, took me in. His home wasn't perfect. Old floral wallpaper peeling at the corners, a constant faint rattle when trains passed, but it was safe. He left food in the fridge, asked about my grades, and never raised his voice. For the first time, I thought maybe I could just be a normal teenager. I hung out with my small group of friends, nerdy kids obsessed with anime who spent lunch breaks trading manga and doodling characters in notebooks. I wasn't popular, but I wasn't miserable either. That balance shattered the week our class schedules got shuffled for midterms. My friends ended up with second lunch. I got first. Suddenly, I had 45 minutes in a buzzing cafeteria with no one to talk to, no safe corner of laughter. Just me, my tray, and the long hum of voices. That's when he appeared. The first encounter. I remember the day perfectly. January gray skies pressing against the cafeteria windows, the sour smell of pizza breadsticks, the cold metal of the bench under my hands. I was half distracted, picking at a bag of chips, when someone slid onto the seat across from me. He didn't ask, he just sat, tall, pale, wiry. A black hoodie pulled low, sleeves chewed at the cuffs. His hair was too long, hanging into his eyes, but it didn't hide the way he stared. Direct, unblinking. His eyes were the kind of dull brown that looked almost black under fluorescent light, flat and unreadable. "You're Angela, right?" His voice rasped like he hadn't spoken all day. My stomach dropped. I didn't know him. I hadn't told him my name. Yeah. Do I know you?" He smiled then, small and deliberate. The kind of smile that wasn't warm, but practiced. I just remember faces. Yours stood out. He started asking questions. What shows I liked, what music I listened to. I answered cautiously, keeping my eyes on my food. He leaned closer with every word, like he wanted to inhale the sound. His hoodie smelled faintly of smoke and something sharp, like burnt sage. The bell rang and I bolted, heart pounding, telling myself it was nothing. The messages. A few days later, he cornered me again, asked for my number. His name was George. I don't know why I gave it. Maybe because I didn't want to seem rude. Maybe because he didn't ask. He insisted. That night, my phone buzzed. "Hey," I replied, cautious. "Hey." Within minutes, he unloaded his entire day. Complaints about teachers, homework, his job at the gas station off Route 42. I kept responses short. At first it was harmless, but by the third night the messages twisted. "Do you like sex?" I stared at the glowing screen in the dark, horrified. My fingers shook as I typed back, "No, don't talk to me about that." Immediately 3 messages came back in a rush. "Sorry, sorry, sorry. You're just so pure. I won't say it again." Except he did, again and again. Each time followed by frantic apologies, promises he couldn't help it, shifting the topic back to anime or homework like nothing happened. When I started ignoring him, it escalated. He left voicemails whispering about how my hair looked that day, how the color of my skirt fit perfectly. Once, he described word for word the shirt I wore in first period. I never told him. The rumors. By then, I started noticing him everywhere, in doorways, at the end of halls, on the bleachers during gym, eyes fixed. My friends whispered about him too. 2 girls had gone missing earlier in the year, both sophomores. Everyone thought they'd run away, until they were found days later, wandering the highway, barefoot and dazed. But the strangest part? Both were dressed in elaborate anime costumes. One in a frilly maid dress, the other in a sailor uniform with a wig sliding sideways. They couldn't explain what happened. Their memories just ended. When I brought this up, one friend lowered her voice and said she'd seen inside George's locker once. It wasn't books inside. It was photos. Girls from school, snapped mid-stride, mid-laugh, never posed, their names scrawled in black marker underneath. I laughed it off with them, but inside, I felt my stomach turn. Inside his room. Everything unraveled when he invited me over. He said we could study, that he wanted to help me review. Against every instinct, I agreed. Maybe it was guilt. He'd been sending messages about how lonely he was, how no one understood him. His house was at the far edge of town, past cracked sidewalks and yards with broken chain-link fences. The siding was faded, windows grimy. The porch sagged under our weight as he led me inside. The smell hit me first. Burnt herbs, candle wax, something metallic under it all. The living room was dim, curtains drawn, lit only by flickering votive candles in glass jars. Symbols I didn't recognize were scrawled in chalk along the walls. He led me upstairs, the boards groaning, into his room. And there, my breath caught. One wall, completely plastered with photographs, hundreds of them, girls from school, faces caught in motion, unaware. Each photo had a name written beneath it, and a date. Some had red circles drawn around their eyes, others black X's across their mouths. And then I saw myself. Not one photo, dozens. Eating lunch, walking home, laughing, even one of me asleep in my bed, hair spilled across my pillow. My knees went weak, my chest locked. George noticed. He tilted his head, studying my reaction like a cat with a trapped bird. Then he smiled. "You look perfect in the right light," he whispered. "You'd make a beautiful Misa." The disappearance. I ran. Down the stairs, through the stale-smelling hallway, out into the night. I didn't look back. My uncle called the police as soon as I told him. They searched the house the next day. George was gone. But the wall was real. The photos were real. The box under his bed, filled with hair ties, bracelets, scraps of fabric, was real. They also found leather-bound books, pages filled with symbols no one could translate. But George had vanished. Weeks passed. I tried to live again. Therapy helped a little. I convinced myself it was over, until the night I disappeared. My neighbor swore she saw me at dawn, walking down the street barefoot. She said I wore a blonde wig, black lace, and clutched a little notebook to my chest. My eyes were glazed, lips pale. She shouted my name. I didn't turn. I didn't wave. I just kept walking into the morning fog, dressed exactly like Misa Amane from Death Note. That was the last time anyone saw me.